Hello then, welcome back to another Star Wars What If reaction. Today we're reacting to what if Padme, Qui Gon, and the others never went back to Naboo in The Phantom Menace, created by Star Wars Galaxies. Be sure to check him out, links in the description, and I cannot wait to see what he's coming up with for this Star Wars What If. Let's jump right in.
Our story begins on Coruscant,
Okay.
as Queen Amidala, her decoy, and her handmaidens are discussing what their next steps must be in dealing with the invasion of their planet with the Trade Federation. The Federation currently held their planet, and they would have taken the Queen prisoner, if not for the help of the Jedi and R2-D2 in getting her off-world.
Qui-Gon, man.
But now that they
Obi-Wan.
were all on Coruscant, dealing with the invasion was frustratingly hard, as the Senate, or Republic, no longer functioned as it once did.
Yeah, because they're
It was
stupid.
now just constant deliberation without any action, and it was stressing Padme and the others out to the point of them wanting to return to Naboo. They knew that Coruscant was the area of the Senators and the Jedi, and it was time for her to go back. But as the group was about to go and find Palpatine to inform him of this decision, a new emergency communication reached them.
Okay.
Padme answered to find a pre-recorded message from C.O. Bibble, a key member of the Royal Advisory Council,
I
who was
know who he
captured
is.
by the Federation.
That guy with the long beard.
Not long ago, he sent a message to them saying that the death toll here on Naboo was catastrophic, and that
Okay.
Padme must contact him. But now, he came with a new message. Bibble told Padme that the last message was forced on him. He didn't want to send it, but the Federation members had threatened his life.
Okay.
Now, he has
Interesting.
escaped custody for a moment and is sending Padme a new message. Do not return to Naboo. Bibble said he overheard Gunray speaking to someone who assured him that if the Queen returns, then she will be killed by an elite assassin.
Oh, shit.
So Bibble said that
Elite assassin, aka Darth Maul. Haha.
as it may be, she must remain on Coruscant and continue to push the Republic or Jedi into acting in the best interests of Naboo.
Okay.
Bibble assured the Queen that the Federation is not stupid enough to actually start letting citizens die, as they know that will mean war. This is a cowardly occupation of the planet, and one that must be resolved by the Republic they are protected under.
Interesting.
The message ended, and Padme said she can't ignore her people. She still wanted to go back, but now her handmaiden stepped in, telling her to listen to Bibble. He is there. He is trustworthy, and so he understands what is best right now.
Okay.
They must put their faith in Palpatine to be elected as the new Chancellor, and he will surely act in the best interests of Naboo. So, Padme sat back, telling the Queen decoy and the handmaidens to go to Palpatine's office, learn of any new information regarding the election. She is going to the Jedi Temple.
Oh.
And in the temple, Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and the young Anakin Skywalker were standing in front of the full Jedi Council
Okay.
as the Council delivered the harsh news. Anakin Skywalker, despite being powerful in the Force, will not be trained.
Come on,
His
man.
future was far too clouded, and his emotions could push him down a dark path. Qui-Gon simply could not believe this, so he announced he would be taking on Anakin as his Padawan no matter what.
Okay,
as
yeah,
Obi-Wan
that's
was
good.
ready for the trials. The council members were frustrated with Qui-Gon's continual disobeying of their decisions. But before more could be said, the council doors opened and two temple guards ushered in Padme Amidala.
Okay.
Everyone was surprised for a moment, but then Padme revealed the truth. She is the true queen, while her decoy is with Senator Palpatine. Qui-Gon smiled, and Anakin's mouth went wide open, as both of them were fooled. Padme looked to Windu, then Yoda, and she asked the Jedi to overrule the Senate, send a group to Naboo large enough to end this occupation, once and for all.
Oh, I like this.
Padme told the Jedi that they have long been told in stories to be protectors of the people, a powerful group that will not stand for injustice. But now, as her people suffer under the
Oh, I like this so much because I feel like, oh, please, the Jedi is going to send like, what, a task force of Jedi, like 100 or 200 Jedi to Naboo, end the occupation, and then Darth Maul is there, and he's just fucked,
oppression of the Trade Federation and the droid army, the Jedi Council sits here above the rest of the planet, deliberating on whether or not they should even help. So, Padme asked if the Jedi of old legends have died out, and now all that is left is an echo of the useless Senate. Or will the Jedi show they will stand up for what is right in this galaxy? Ki-Adi-Mundi spoke up, saying they have treaties with the Senate that forbid them from acting without
Oh,
consulting them.
treaties. Just shut the fuck up, dickhead.
Padme angrily said that Naboo had a treaty with the Federation, and now they are occupying the planet, Sometimes
Uh-huh.
a treaty needs to be bent.
Exactly.
Qui-Gon couldn't hide his smile during all of this. He couldn't have said it better himself. And so, Qui-Gon looked around the room to Plo Koon, Depa Billaba, Yaddle, and everyone else as he said the Queen is right, and they know she is right. They are keepers of the peace, and they are letting
Exactly. They know, but they're just too scared to like go ahead and do it.
peace on Naboo be destroyed by corporate greed. It's time to stand up and fight back, or else risk this happening to other planets as they continue to test the limits of the Jedi. And so, a quick vote would be held, as everyone, except for Kiadi-Mundi and Saesee Tin, would vote in favor of going to Naboo with a squad of Jedi.
Oh wow, everyone and except those two. So even like Mace Windu, and he's like always kind of like skeptical and shit.
And so, as the Senate was deciding on who would replace Valorum as Chancellor of the Republic, a squad of 20 Jedi were loaded onto a ship, and they would take off for Naboo.
Okay, so it's not exactly like I guess 20 Jedi is more like a task force, because I was thinking like 100, 200. That's the amount that like went to Geonosis. So, but yeah, 20 Jedi, still, that's like more than enough to like help out. Plus, Darth Maul is fucked.
Breaking long-held rules and treaties within the Senate to not act without first consulting them. The ship jumped to hyperspace, and Queen Amidala watched from the landing pad on Coruscant, hoping this would be enough to free her planet from Gunray and the Federation. She had the handmaidens with her,
By the way, I wonder which Jedi are being sent there.
and also the young Anakin Skywalker. She and the others were tasked with watching over Anakin until the Jedi arrive, as both Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were among the 20 Jedi here.
Okay.
And on Coruscant, many hours later, newly elected Chancellor Palpatine would be giving his first speech as Chancellor, and he was enjoying it. Finally, the galaxy was under his rule, and in time, he would not have to rely on the Senate any longer. Soon, everything would be his and his alone.
Okay.
Everything was going according to plan, and now that Plagueis was dead, he stood alone as the leader of the Sith. But as Palpatine was in the middle of his speech, proclaiming that he will be the one to lead the Republic into a new era of security and prosperity, he had the full attention of the Senate, until suddenly, Speaker Masameda was alerted of something urgent.
Okay.
It was a new report from Naboo, and Mas had to quickly interrupt Palpatine's speech and show the Senate what was happening. Apparently, the Jedi have taken this invasion into their own hands, and the Council has dispatched a squad of Jedi to handle it. Across the galaxy, a transport ship carrying 20 Jedi slipped towards the besieged planet of Naboo.
This is probably gonna make the Jedi look a lot better though, because people are actually gonna see that the Jedi solved this invasion. They saved Naboo.
But the blockade of warships was still looming in its path, and so, in a sudden battle above Naboo, Jedi Masters Saesee Tin and Plo Koon, each piloting Jedi fighters, would lead a squad of Naboo pilots in an assault against the Federation ships.
Oh.
They would blast through squadrons of
go.
vulture droids, clearing a path through the blockade, as the droids and the Nimodians scrambled to alert the forces on Naboo of what exactly is going on. Gunray, responding in his typical panicked voice, said that Sidious assured them that they will get to hold the planet without worrying about the Jedi. And so, Gunray had to order droids around the city to prepare for a ground battle, as the Jedi are breaking through the blockade and making their way to the surface.
Oh, I love this.
Their speed and precision as pilots made it impossible for the Federation forces to stop them, and the Jedi transport would descend into the planet. Upon landing, the Jedi would split up. Jedi Masters Yoda, Windu, Depa Billaba, and Yaddle would lead
We literally have the best Jedi in the order over here. Like the Naboo is just saved already.
a strike force into the heart of Theed. They landed the ship in the main hangar of the plasma refinery building, which connected directly to the palace where Gunray and the others were waiting.
Oh, they're screwed.
And they immediately encountered an onslaught of battle droids.
Where's
The
Maul?
Jedi would move together, deflecting the blaster fire, cutting down droids with swift, easy, powerful strikes. And their combined strength was rather unstoppable, allowing them to press forward deeper into the palace. Droids were pouring out from corridors and doorways all around, but the Jedi were relentless, pushing their way through the castle's defenses. And so Gunray called in the big guns for this. A group of 10 droidicas rolled in at the forge.
Come on, 10 droidicas. Like, yeah, they're big guns, but there's Maul, Windu, Depa Billaba, Yaddle, Yoda. What the fuck are 10 droidicas gonna do to them?
Jedi. and they began firing through their mini shields. The Jedi hid behind pillars, which were now being torn apart by blaster fire, and so the Jedi began to lift the debris with the Force. Windu and Balaba jumped out from hiding, deflecting the strong blasts from the droidicas, distracting them as Yoda and Yaddle lifted the sharp debris shreds and threw them at droidicas.
Oh, yes.
The force of this attack knocked them backwards, hitting each other, and the shields began to give way. And as the droidicas stumbled, Yoda and Windu now slammed their hands into the floor, causing it to break away, and all 10 of the droidicas fell to the floor below, crashing, being destroyed, as the 4 Jedi would now continue towards Gunray.
Yeah, he's
Meanwhile,
screwed.
Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Evan Peel, and Eth Koth split off to free Naboo's imprisoned civilians. The Federation had established makeshift prison camps guarded by waves of droids and tanks.
Oh,
and
that's
moving swiftly,
nice.
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan would dismantle the guards at one of the camps, cutting down battle droids, evading tank fire, while Evan Peel and Eth Koth led the freed prisoners away from the danger. The tanks were initially too focused on Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to notice what was happening, but soon the droids began to notice the escaping civilians, and so the large guns of the 4 tanks here turned towards the people. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan did not hesitate to act, each of them cutting through a tank, using the Force to crash the other 2 into each other.
Damn, they really were about to fire on citizens. God damn.
Before they could fire. Qui-Gon smiled at Obi-Wan, then he got into the final tank, aiming it at the crash group trying to recover, and the Jedi Master fired, completely destroying them. But as Masters Peel and Eth Koth turned the corner, another tank was there, firing at them, and Eth Koth leaped forward, using the Force to redirect the shot into a nearby home. The house was empty, but the blast hit Master Koth hard, and as Evan Peel ran forward, cutting through the tank, escorting the freed civilians away, he noticed that Master Eth Koth has died, and he wished to have the Force be with him
Nah, no way!
in death. The people of Naboo, once bound and helpless, would find themselves liberated as the Jedi were creating safe passage throughout the camps. Elsewhere on the ground, the remaining 10 Jedi that were here have spread across Naboo's capital. In the streets and public squares, they were clashing with legions of droids, protecting the citizens still trapped in hiding. Lightsabers blazing blue and green as droids fell by the dozen, and the people of Naboo would emerge, inspired by the sight of these Jedi fighting for their world. Buildings were cleared, defenses dismantled, and the people began to reclaim their homes, as the tide of this battle would shift entirely against the Federation. 3 of these Jedi, all of them masters not on the Council, would fall in battle. They died sacrificing themselves for what they knew was right, and the people understood their great sacrifice. In the skies above, Plo Koon and Saesee continued to battle with Naboo's pilots on their side, flying through swarms of Federation droid fighters. Their mission was to disable the droid control ship, the nerve center controlling the ground forces.
Oh, I see,
in coordinated attacks, they would strafe
That's what Anakin did in Episode 1, and it just fucked all the droids.
Ship's hull, avoiding turret fire as they dodged and weaved through the assault. With focus blasters, they weakened the shields, setting up a Naboo fighter squadron to deliver a decisive blow, crippling the control ship, causing droids across Naboo to finally completely falter and collapse mid-battle as they were falling apart. And inside the Naboo Palace, Yoda and his team finally reached the throne room, where Newt Gunray and his aides were cowering behind a barricade of fallen battle droids. The Viceroy realizes his defeat, and he does surrender. The Jedi would quickly take him into custody, along with the rest of the Leadership Council. The battle seemed all but over, with victory in sight for Naboo. And yet, as Yoda and the others were preparing to escort Gunray away, Yoda now sensed a powerful dark...
This is Maul, but like... I'm just so, like, excited for what the fuck is gonna happen here, because Maul is fucked. He's dead. He's just dead.
Darkness closing in on the palace. This was the
And also, this is very good. You know why? Because Yoda himself is gonna see with his own eyes that the Sith are back.
That Qui-Gon talked about on Coruscant. Not long ago, after Palpatine's speech, he immediately hurried to contact Darth Maul. Sidious was angry that the Jedi went behind the Senate's back, and he would make sure they pay with their lives.
Oh, really?
Sidious ordered Maul to target the palace area with his ship, where Gunray and the others were residing. Once the Jedi got there, kill them all was the order. Maul acknowledged the order, and he waited throughout the entire battle until now. And in the palace, Yoda, Windu, Balaba, and Yaddle watched as Maul's ship prepared to fire upon them. There was nowhere to go, and Gunray knew now that he was betrayed. But right before Maul could fire, Plo Koon swooped down from the battle in space, firing at Maul's ship. The shields were too strong for Plo, and so he deactivated all power from the shields, putting it all into his thrusters, speeding up, slamming his fighter ship right into Maul's, right as Maul was trying to fire. And Plo caused Maul to miss the palace, as both Jedi and Sith were now descending towards the ground in their broken ships.
He's not dead.
Yoda and the others watched them fall. Then he and Yaddle jumped out of the palace window, following the smoke trail to the ground below, while Windu and Balaba stayed with Gunray. When Yoda and Yaddle finally reached the pair of crashed ships, Darth Maul threw Plo Koon's now lifeless body to the ground in front of them, and then he ignited both sides of his red blade as he stood atop the fiery ruins of the ship.
Plo Koon's dead,
Maul
man.
yelled in anger that they have to die, and both Yoda and Yaddle ignited their green blades, and Maul flipped down to fight them.
Dude. Maul, man. You're dead. Do you even know what you're fighting? Did Sidious not teach you about fucking Master Yoda, bro? You're fighting a Grandmaster, you're dead.
Charged across the grassy plains, a dark whirlwind of fury and aggression, his double-bladed saber slicing through the air, colliding with Yoda and Yaddle. Yoda's quick movements were deflecting Maul's strikes with some ease, his small form leaping, spinning around, barely touching the ground, as he evaded Maul's onslaught.
I do also like how this video is kind of making Yaddle and Yoda fight together, considering you've never seen that before.
Is powerful, but Yoda was ready for it, and Yaddle matched Maul's intensity with her own calm deflections, her green blade intercepting Maul's powerful swings. Together, the two smaller Jedi were working together, using the Force, countering Maul's brutal attacks, and Maul was pouring all of his rage into each one of the blows, determined to break their defenses. But he grew reckless, consumed by frustration, struggling to land a decisive strike. He lunged forward with far too much force, overextending, his movements now erratic, and Yaddle seized the moment, sidestepping. One of his wild swings went way too far, and Yaddle struck his saber hilt, forcing him to lose control of the blade. Yoda moved swiftly in, capitalizing on Maul's anger, slicing the Sith in half. He had no choice but to end him, as Maul already caused the death of one Jedi, and would not stop until the job was finished. Yaddle went over to Plo, laying him to rest, and Yoda went into Maul's ship. After some examinations, Yoda and Windu would each come to a similar conclusion on investigations they have taken since finishing their jobs. Both Maul's ship and the Mechno chair that Newt Gunray has been using to communicate with someone off-world were made by the same company. They were both labeled under the company of Limerge, and there was only one known Limerge building still remaining on Coruscant.
Oh wow, that is some good investigating, I'll tell you that.
It was deep in the industrial sector, and suddenly, the Jedi could only wonder if perhaps that was where the Sith lair could be.
It is indeed.
If the Sith defeated here was merely the apprentice, then perhaps they can follow the trail of the Mechno chair and the Sith ship all the way to the Sith Master. And so, the surviving 15 Jedi would travel back to Coruscant now that Naboo was liberated. Without Queen Amidala on planet, Sio Bibble and his Royal Council group began to reorganize the freed people as they waited for the Queen. And once the Jedi arrived back on Coruscant, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Mace Windu would be sent to speak with the Queen about how everything went, while the remaining Jedi traveled to the last Limerge building still in operation. And as they approached the building, a darkness could be felt. Inside of this building...
So, Mace Windu, Obi-Wan... So there's 13 Jedi going to the building, including Yaddle, Yoda, and Qui Gon.
Sith were already here. Darth Sidious was with former Jedi Dooku, who was in line to become his new...
They're at an interesting moment.
Apprentice. The Naboo operation has fallen apart, but Sidious was saying that perhaps they can turn to the Senate against the Jedi by saying they acted far too recklessly. But Dooku was unsure of what to do. He actually was extremely impressed with how the Jedi acted, and he was even more impressed with Queen Amidala for getting the Jedi...
Yeah, like, the Jedi basically just did what Dooku wanted them to do.
...to act this way. He wondered if it was possible that he was wrong about everything. Perhaps the Jedi were not too far gone after all. Maybe there was hope within the Order, and with the young Republic politicians like Padme. And suddenly, the Jedi transport ship flew into the hangar, lights shining directly on Sidious. And the Sith turned to Dooku, telling him they must get out of here. But Dooku now acted purely on instinct. He ignited his lightsaber directly through the heart of Darth Sidious, and the Sith Lord died quickly. Yoda, Qui-Gon, and the others ran out, finding Dooku, asking what exactly was going on here. And so, Dooku revealed the truth. He told the Jedi of Palpatine coming to him some time ago, with promises of rebuilding the Republic from the ground up, and Dooku admitted he bought into it until now. He saw now just how wrong he was, and today he did what had to be done by killing Palpatine.
Nice.
The Jedi were beyond shocked to see that the Sith was Palpatine, and Dooku left out the stuff about how he organized for the Pikes to kill Sifo-Dyas, and ultimately, the reports of Naboo and of Palpatine would be delivered to the Senate by Dooku and the other Jedi. For the Jedi, keeping the trust of the Senate was no easy task, but as Dooku laid out all of the evidence, and as Naboo citizens testified to say the Jedi saved them, the Senate began to see the truth. The Jedi did what was right, and all of them were tricked by Palpatine. Soon, a new election would once again take place, and it would be Dooku who ultimately would win and
I love that.
take over as Supreme Chancellor, with Padme becoming his second in command, as Dooku admired her leadership, wanting her to be his eventual successor.
Oh, nice. We have a super old guy, Jedi, as a Chancellor, and like a 14-year-old girl as the co-Chancellor. Nice.
As Chancellor. The Republic would shift into a new golden era, with Dooku at the top of it, while Jedi were loyal to him, but their freedoms to act on how they saw fit would be greatly expanded. Anakin Skywalker would finally be granted to be trained by Qui-Gon, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would pass the trials and become a Jedi Knight.
Nice.
He would eventually go on to train his own Padawans, including Ahsoka Tano,
Ooh.
as Anakin ascended to a great power under the training and the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn. For years, the Republic and the Jedi would rebuild a relationship that had grown stale, as both groups had merely tolerated each other for a long time, until Dooku came in and was mending the relationship, ensuring the Jedi were able to live out what they were meant to do. The Trade Federation and New Gunray would undergo heavy changes, as Gunray was basically exiled, as Dooku personally reorganized it, to ensure a situation like the one on Naboo never happens again.
Nice.
Anakin and Padme would go on to have a connection in their lives with each other, but it would never advance to anything romantic, as Anakin was on a path under Qui-Gon to become a great Jedi, and Padme was set to eventually become Chancellor in the rebuilt Republic. And folks, that is our story for today.
Wow, I mean, that is a great story. You know what? I'm gonna give this 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. It's a good deserved 8 out of 10 for this story. Pretty damn good story. I really like it. It's a very light side ending with, I guess some sadness happening with, we lost Plo Koon. That's pretty damn sad, but hey. It's a great, I can't even speak. It's a great story, man. I can't speak, bro. 8 out of 10 for this story, man. If you guys agree with me, or if you don't, let me know in the comments section down below whether you agree with my 8 out of 10 rating, or if you don't, and what you guys rate this story out of 10.
Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this reaction, make sure to go subscribe to the Star Wars Galaxy for more awesome What If content. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. Remember, our new Star Wars What If reaction drops every single day. Join our Discord, the links in the description, and also if you want to support the channel and get exclusive perks, consider joining our Patreon. Huge thanks to all of our amazing patrons for your support. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video, so drop a comment with feedback and let me know which What If I should react to next. Thanks again for watching. This is the Way the Force with you, and I will see you next time.
Hey, you didn't watch it? Well, check out this video on the left side of the screen, which is specifically recommended for you, or check out the playlist on the right of the screen, which contains similar videos to this one, made by me, of course. Hey, remember, subscribe.